sisters and brothers, children of the sun, moon, and stars, sons and daughters of royalty, divine sparks of divinity, aboriginal, archivalan, African mothers and fathers of humanity, human civilizations and culture. Please wait, a cotton picking, down home, dirty rice, Delta, Mississippi, blues, fried chicken, baked chicken, smothered chicken, collard greens, cabbage green, cornbread, black eyed peas, pinto beans, sweet potato pie, mom's apple pie, juke joint, moonshine minute. And that's a minute, or less than a minute, but I got it out. Once again, I'm 8GMTN Mwanga Sadaka Mantu Waset Anaphiel, the Oracle, and I, along with Brother Willie Mike Chet Colbert, he's the Executive Director of MC Productions. And we thank you very much for wisely interconnecting, ingathering, and ingesting what we call the red pill of accurate historical and spiritual knowledge and truth and evidence, highly and heavily spiced and seasoned with unconditional love, so as to psychotherapeutically experience and bear witness to another awesome and amazing, mind-quaking, soul-shaking, spirit-stirring, eye-opening episode of Purge, Purify, and Renew Your Mind. Coming to you from the backwoods, muddy waters, sugar ditches, mosquito swamps, dirt roads, railroad tracks, rattlesnake plantations, mockingbirds, cotton fields, and magnolia trees of Greenville and Delta, Mississippi. For those of you who may not have yet heard through the cosmic community grapevine, the primary purpose of Purge, Purify, and Renew Your Mind is not only to purge, purify, and renew minds, but to enlighten minds, to empower people, to enrich, enhance, elevate, and transform for the better as many lives as possible. Once again, brothers and sisters, we are excited and delighted to have you zoom in to this another fresh episode. And our topic for today, or subject, is the word Namaskar. Namaskar. And sometimes, many people, they make Namaste and Namaskar synonymous. In certain ways they are, but Namaskar is go a little deeper and has each one of them have a slightly different meaning, but technically they both mean the same. So my purpose for elaborating just a moment or a minute on the word is just to start sharing some information on certain greetings that we use when we salutations that we express when we meet one another and part from one another. And so the intention of this video is intended to do just that, and not to be long, but to be strong, and hopefully inspiring, informative, and inspiring, that you may go and do your own homework. And there are many issues in our daily lives that we are confronted with as a people and as individuals, as a family, that we need to discuss. And eventually, on this Purge and Purify and Renew Your Mind, we will discuss some of these topics and try to share practical knowledge and information to help alleviate some of the pain and suffering that we all, to various degrees, experience on a day-to-day basis. So Before I proceed any further, I'd like to dedicate these remarks, however the ancestors within me and within us moved me to express them, to my queen sister, elder sister, friend, Sister Viola Hinton. And I was talking to the director, I'm looking at now, I guess he's in here, he may not be, and I'm not trying to call him on the carpet. He may have, he might be sitting in the back row of the church, as they say, but he might not be here in the flesh, but his spirit is here because he's the executive director of MC Production. But I dedicate these remarks to Elder Queen Sister Viola Hinton. And she's 81 years old, and she just had a soul-born day on May the 17th. And she's living in Florida right now, and she and I are still in communication by phone. And the reason why I'm dedicating these remarks to her and to others and to ourselves, because she and her husband, Brother Henry Hinton, who has made his spiritual transition, and he made his spiritual transition in 2015. But I always recall, and I'll never will forget, I think it was during the 1990s that we got together, and we were dissatisfied with the conditions and the mentality of our people, and we still dissatisfied and displeased with our mental orientation as a people, especially here, as I say, in the backwoods and mosquito swamps and muddy waters of Greenville and Delta, Mississippi. We have a great challenge, and we are suffering at every angle. There's suffering, there's pain, there's hardship. And without making a long story short, she and I and her husband, we engaged in those early days and in a lot of community social work, trying to bring some alleviation to our pain and suffering as a people, trying to enlighten and educate our mentalities, and so forth and so on. And much can be said on that, but moving right along and being quick but not hurrying. And my intention is not to make this a long video. And as I move on, I hope the ancestors, I look forward to the ancestors slowing me down and relaxing and moving on with the episode. But anyway, the word Namaskar, it's derived from, etymologically speaking, from an ancient Sanskrit language. And it's spoken mostly in East India and Southern Asia. And breaking the word down with a little research I did, the prefix N-A-M, Nam, means to bow to. A-S means to be or to exist. The Ka, K-A-R, so you got Namaskar. The Ka, K-A-R, means doing or one who does. So when you put the word together, it's some interpreters state that it means I do the act of bowing with reverence. So when you go, if we go a little deeper beneath the surface, in my interpretation and from my perspective, the word means I recognize, I honor, I respect, and I salute the spark, the divine spark of divinity in you or in another. As a matter of fact, the word Namaskar can be all-encompassing. Putting it this way, I recognize, I honor, I salute, I respect the divine spark not only in you, but in myself and in the entire universe. Think over that. It's a powerful greeting, and many of us, even here in this country, that consider ourselves to be enlightened to whatever degree, you know, we have many different greetings. You know, the things that come from the Twi language in West Africa or Ghana with Amani, which is Swahili, Amani na Upendo. Amani na Upendo means peace and love. In the 70s, we used the word, we used to say, many of us, right on. You know, right on is an expression of, you know, of support. It's an expression that something or someone is good. It's an acknowledgement or an agreement or support of something. So there are many different terms of greetings, of salutations, and parting the ways. And the main objective of what I'm getting to or trying to say with this video is that if we really digest some of the greetings that we use on a day-to-day basis, then we would not do the things that we see that we do to one another in ourselves. Getting back to Namaskar, because if I say Namaskar and I'm recognizing the spark of divinity within you, and that is you, then I'm not paying attention to your clothing. I'm not paying attention to the way you wear your hair, or the crowns that you have on your head, or how your body structure look, or the shoes you wear, or the money that you may have in your bank account, and all the other riches and possessions of the world that you may have. The word Namaskar is going past all of that, and is speaking and recognizing your God self, who you really are. And so if I'm sincere with my greetings of Namaskar, then I cannot dishonor you. I would not seek to destroy you. I would not seek to hurt, harm, or cause pain and suffering to you if I honor the greeting. Because what? I'm saying that once again, reiterating, we know repetition is the mother of all learning. So don't get so hooked up that I'm repeating myself. Because that's how we learn, through repetition. If I say Namaskar once again and greet you with Namaskar, then I'm honoring, I'm bowing to the highest aspect of your nature, which is your God self, your spiritual self, your divine self. And the hand gesture of that greeting is to put both hands together, the palms together, and slightly bow. And you say Namaskar. So you're paying reverence to that spark of divinity within the other. The spark of divinity within yourself or myself is honoring and paying honor and respect to the God self which is in you. That's powerful, because it's no different from the East African word Ubuntu, which means I am because you are, and because you are, therefore I am. Think over that. The divinity that you are is the divinity that I am. And just another little tidbit on all of what I'm saying or trying to say. When we put the two hands together, the palms together, the right hand and left hand, we got the right hemisphere, which operates the left side of the body. We got the left hemisphere, which operates the right side of the body. And as many of you probably already know, the right brain hemisphere is 90% of our mental capacity. And really, it's on lockdown. It's the feminine aspect of our mentality. The right brain hemisphere is feminine. It controls the left side of the body, and the heart is on the left side. The left brain hemisphere controls the right side of the body. It's masculine. It's 10% or less of our mental capacity. And this whole society, whether we know it or not, believe it or not, just do your homework, the cultural system of other people that we all live, move, and have our beingness in is geared towards the left hemisphere or the masculine, which is less than 10% of our maximum mental capabilities. Think over that. So 90% of our mental capacity has been on lockdown, is on lockdown. Think over that. Do the homework if you don't accept what I'm saying. And pretend that some of you don't accept it. Do the homework. And you will find out that what I'm saying is in harmony and alignment with what you discover for yourself in your research and in your homework. Think over that. Moving right along, brothers and sisters. Look at the word hotel. And basically, the word hotel, you know, when so-called black people, Aboriginal people, Alkebulan people, African people speak it, it's simply been translated as meaning peace. But I want to read a little passage from this book here, The Meaning of Hotel, a Nubian Study Guide, by Ampu Unefa Ahmed. And on page 7, it says, Hotep is a word that is rooted in the ancient Nubian writing of Medu-Neter, not hieroglyphs. The writings of the ancient Kushite and the ancient so-called Egyptians, or what they call them, who they call themselves, Kemetans or Kemet, at Southeast Africa. The language that they spoke was called Medu-Neter, not hieroglyphics. It's a big difference. But moreover, he says, Hotep is symbolized by a table used for offerings in the form of an altar. The word Hotep has been given the definition to rest, to be happy, to be content, to be at peace with, to do good to someone, joy, contentment, offerings, gift, a shrine, offering made to the deceased, so-called ancestor, and so forth and so on. So the main point of this little talk or discussion is to emphasize that these positive and progressive greetings, salutations that we use, if we are really sincere and they rooted deep down in us, when we say them and then live the greeting that we speak, then we would not hurt, harm, or cause pain and suffering to ourselves and to others or to the universe. So I'm saying this to all of us, but I'm speaking specifically, in a sense, to our youth. In the greetings of peace and joy and harmony that we say to one another on a day-to-day basis, if we apply them, then a brother or sister could not kill another brother or sister, because that's killing yourself. Another brother or sister could not cause pain and suffering and hurt and harm to another, because that's causing it to yourself. Think over that. If you adhere to the meaning of the word Namaskar, it is deeply rooted in our beingness and in your heart or your subconscious mind. And when we greet one another with Hotep, Ma'at, Hotep, Namaskar, Namaste, or right on, or the power fist, think over that. They call it in the human rights movement, the black power fist. It has nothing to do with being in opposition to other people. The fist among all people who use it just really is a symbol for self-determination, a symbol for equality, a symbol for justice and righteousness and balance and harmony and order. That's all it is. So when we say raise up the fist, and just think about the image of Tommy Smith and what's the other brother name? John Collins during the 1960 Olympic, when they had the black glove on and they raised the fist. That's all they were saying. They want justice. They were going beyond their individual self and saying power, justice, self-determination, freedom, equality, and so forth and so on for themselves and for their people. That's all they were saying. But this system, this country at that time was in opposition to that and still is. And some of those very same other people said John Collins and Thomas Smith, they were right. They understand it now, but they didn't want to understand it then. So anyway, when you take that fist and you put it over your heart, right? And the heart is on the left side. And as I stated earlier, that the right side of the brain hemisphere controls the left side, which is the feminine. So you're putting power. You're putting power. Let me repeat that. The left brain, which is controls the right side, is masculine. And the heart is on the left side of the body, which is controlled by the right brain hemisphere, which is feminine. So you put masculine or power or electrical over the heart. So you're connecting power with a masculine, once again, with the feminine, with love, with power, peace, and love. It's all in the symbols that many of us use every day. And I reiterate, when we put into practice some of the symbols that we use and the greetings that we use, which are positive and progressive, which are divine symbols, which are righteous symbols, and we live up to these symbols and these greetings, then you cannot, once again, hurt, harm, destroy, or cause pain to yourself or to another. We will grow and develop. We will transcend our lower vibratory frequencies, where we will hurt, harm, and cause pain and suffering to others. We could not do it. It would be a scientific, spiritual, mathematical impossibility to do it if we lived up just to some of these greetings. So once again, I bring this little talk, little discussion to a close, and I hope it has been informative to you who may be listening and watching, and I hope it's inspirational, it's encouraging, it motivates you, stimulates you to rise above our lower vibratory frequencies. So in closing, I say, reading from this excerpt from a poem or a song, everything must change. Everything must change. Nothing stays the same. Everything will change. No one stays the same. The young becomes the old, and mysteries do unfold, because that's the way of time. Nothing and no one goes unchanged. There are not many things in life you can be sure of, except rain comes from the clouds, sun lights up the sky, and hummingbirds do fly. Winter turns to spring, a wounded heart will heal, but never much too soon. Yes, everything will change. The young becomes the old, and mysteries do unfold, because that's the way of time. Nothing and no one goes unchanged. Every shut eye isn't closed, and every goodbye isn't gone. The naked truth is always better than the dressed best lie. Not to know is bad, not to want to know is worse. Not everything, James Baldwin says, that is faced can be changed, but nothing can be changed until it is faced. And finally, as always, do not believe in anything simply because you have heard it. Do not believe in anything simply because it is spoken and rumored by many. Do not believe in anything simply because it is found written in your religious books or your spiritual books or whatever book. Do not believe in anything merely on the authority of your teachers and elders. Question things. Research things. Seek the truth out for yourself. Be a truth seeker. Be not like the 4th chapter 6th verse of Hosea said, destroy for lack of knowledge. And matter of fact, today, we as a people and people in general are not really destroyed for lack of knowledge. We are destroyed because we deny knowledge. Like at no other time, knowledge is pervasive. It's everywhere. You can find it everywhere. But many of us are in denial of knowledge and truth and evidence. Facts and truth can change. Even truth changes. And at the same time stays the same. That sounds like a contradiction. But evidence doesn't change. It could have rained yesterday. That's the truth. But today is not raining. That truth has changed for today. But the evidence of yesterday is valid. If you got the evidence that it rained yesterday, that's the proof. That's the proof. Because I can say that it rained yesterday and to me it was a truth, but where's my evidence? To the unbelieving. And to the believing, where is the evidence? That's the proof. Do not believe in traditions because they have been handed down for many generations, but after observation, thorough, meticulous observation, when you find that anything agrees with reason and is conducive to the good and benefit of one and all, then accept it and live up to it. Stand on your spiritual square. In this age of Aquarius, 2,160 years, stand on your spiritual square. Achieve and strive for a unity consciousness, a unification in spiritual consciousness of yourself. Because there's an increase of knowledge. Things are changing. Things have changed. New energy, higher energies and frequencies are coming to the earth, have come to the earth. Everything on the earth and in the cosmos is changing. There's a total paradigm shift for the better. Because the age of Aquarius is known as the golden age. An age of spiritual development, growth and development, spiritual awareness, prosperity for all, the masses of people. There's been a change, a shift. The old Piscean age, or the age of what I call religiosity, is gone. But the effects of it is like still on his deathbed. It's lingering on. But that age is over. The age of duality, the days of lies and hypocrisy, deception, deceit, social, economic, and political corruption. That age, the Piscean age, is over. So it's time that we wake up, and people all over the planet are waking up. Waking up to what? Not just waking up out of their beds, but waking up to higher knowledge and truth and information and evidence. People are coming out of this false consciousness, this false belief system, a belief system based on lies, deception, false ideas, beliefs, and concepts. Whether the lies and the false belief and concepts be religious, be educationally, socially, economically, in every aspect of life, the veil is being lifted. So we can go on and continue trying to hold on to an age that is dying, the age of enlightenment that we all say that we have desired, the age of greater prosperity, the age that we all say that we want and have hope for, is here now. But each of us must do our part. We say, oh yeah, I got faith, but your biblical verse says, in the book of Hebrews, says faith without works is dead. We don't, as individuals, most of us don't want to do our part. Oh, God's going to take care. It's just going to happen. But the verse says faith without works is dead. Where is our work? Where is our work? Oh, God going to do it. Well, my understanding is that divine spark that each of us is and are as a group, as a people, as humanity, is inside of us. I just said it earlier at the beginning, Namaskar. That divine spark of divinity that you and I is and I am, saying it to yourself, you are it. Y-O-U, your own universe. Any way we slice it, dice it, and chop it up and mix it up, we can't escape it. That you and I, each of us, is the power that we've been looking for, searching for, looking up in the sky for, hoping, believing, wondering, searching the earth for. You and I, each of us, is it. Think over that. Meditate, sit down in quiet meditation and reflection on that. If you have the courage, you are the power. Many of us say, oh, I'm a spiritual being, having an earthly, a physical experience. You said, many of us say it all the time. Now it's time to stand up to it. Either we do or don't. You are the power. I am the power. Each of us is the power. Sparks of the divinity. And some of what I'm saying or trying to get across is in the biblical book that many of us read, called the King James Version of the Bible, which the Bible itself is what we call the Bible. That document is an Eastern document. Had nothing to do with no damn King James, but that's a story for another time. But you read in, I think it's 1 Corinthians, 3rd chapter, 6th verse, 16th verse, where it asks the question. It say, know ye not that ye are the temple of God, and the Spirit of God dwells within you? Give a sermon on that. Meditate on that every day. It's just a question. Know ye not that ye are the temple? You can call it a temple, a mosque, a cathedral, a synagogue, a body temple, whatever you want to call it. This house. And the Spirit of God, the Most High, the divine spark, whatever name we want to call it or refer to it, dwells within you and is you and I. Food for thought. Meditate on that. Think over that. Research that. Biblically speaking, again, turn to Luke 17th chapter, I think it's the 21st verse. It asks a question or make a statement. Lo, behold, the kingdom of God of heaven is within you. That's right there in the book that you read. Or that you claim to read. And if you read it, you're reading it, most of it literally. As a history book. History is in it, but spiritual books and writings, they are not history books. And right in the book itself, it tells you that many of the writers and scriptures is dark sayings, esoteric statements, parables, metaphors, allegories. That's the way it should be interpreted. And from the beginning to the end, all the stories and so-called characters are talking about biological, chemical, electrical processes that's going on inside of each individual. The book is about each of us. It's a manual. And when we understand the stories and break them down metaphysically, spiritually, it's a manual for our regeneration, for our rejuvenation. Think over that. Meditate on that. Ask your minister about that. Ask your pastor about that. Ask your bishop about that. Ask him or her. But in closing, that was part of the closing. So I close out by simply saying Amani, Nawapendo, and Namaskar. Namaskar. I started off with Namaskar, I end with Namaskar, and I hope I did some justice to the word or the greeting or the salutation and some other salutations like the black power fist or the power fist, some may say, over the heart. The palms of the hand, which is masculine and feminine, you put them together, and that's showing oneness. And the word that was mostly used in the 70s called right on. You know, these are positive greetings and salutations. Let's live up to them. The right hemisphere, which is 90% of our human capacity, mental capacity, it controls the left side of the body. And it's feminine, and it's on lockdown, it's suppressed, because that's where many of our creative abilities, our love nature, and broad capacity to see and understand life in the universe and within ourselves. Others have a vested interest in keeping the masses of people away from the right brain or freeing and opening up the 90% human capacity of this hemisphere. In the left hemisphere is the masculine side, controls the right side of the body. Do you think it's an accident by those who dominate and so-called control that most things that we use and do in everyday life is on the right side, right hand, which is 10% or less of our human capacity. Think over that. Research that. It's a setup. It's for the so-called powers that be, the wickedly wise, as I call them. This is how one way of how they manipulate and dominate and control the masses of people. By setting up a society, a social cultural system that projects the left side of the brain, or less 10% or less than 10%, as I keep saying, that controls the right side of the body. That's control. Think over that. If you and I and others had access to the other 90% of our capacity, or just say 10% more from the right side, we'll be uncontrollable, and we'll be expressing more of our creative abilities, of achievement, of what we may call true success in life. Namaskar.